Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Devin Ickes with us, and Devin is a commercial real estate security person. So we're going to get into the whole world of security and cameras and even fire protection. So Devin, it's great to have you. I'm actually kind of excited to hear about this whole world because it's not one that I've talked to anybody about yet on this podcast.
Yeah, no, excited to be here, and thanks for having me. Looking forward to getting into it.
So give us a little history of how you actually got into this business.
Well, that's a good story. Well, really my career started working for software that really specialized in commercial real estate. And so early on, I worked for a company called Real Capital Markets. I started working, and I was in research, so I was calling 200 calls a day, calling investors, and really trying to understand their acquisition criteria. And the company specialized in marketing and connecting brokers with buyers and sending out deals to investors, and it's the deals that they're looking for, right? So that found myself kind of entrenched in commercial real estate and learning, and kind of early on. From there, I moved on and started working with brokers individually, working with them, bringing their deals to market via this marketing platform. And from there, really found a niche. We worked with a company that was actually a special servicer, and they were offloading their book of business. So then I got into auctions. So all kind of related to commercial real estate. I was doing online auctions, bringing properties to market. Again, in an online auction form. And so I was running that. I ran that for a number of years. Really, again, fell in love with real estate. Really been on all sides of the coin. So the security side is new for me. So after auctions, after the working with Real Capital Markets, it was so apparent to me that technology was just kind of shaping that real estate landscape, and data was king. And everything we did was tracking, and so I went to before I started the security. I went to another company that was doing location analytics for retail and commercial properties. And so it just because I identified that, data is it's changing the way we look at real estate. It's changing the way we transact. And so I was working with brokers, doing site selection and lease negotiation, and really, involved in, again, the due diligence side of it, the marketing and everything. So that was a big kind of lure for me into CRE, and so again, knowing that technology. And then for the security side, so spent a number of years, working again in the marketing and working in the data, and recently had an opportunity to come on board with a company called Cybex, where we have, where we're expanding into the San Diego market, and we're providing a service to commercial properties. So we're working with property managers and brokers and so on. So I'm familiar with that side of the world, and I think that's why I was like, well, I've never done the security side, but I've been working with brokers, I've been working with investors and owner operators and portfolio managers for the better part, for over 10 years. And it was, so I was like, well, the contacts are similar, just a little bit of the different side of it, right? So now instead of, being involved in the sale or lease of the building, I'm actually involved in securing it. So I've had a robust career with, and found a lot of success with commercial real estate and data, marketing, and been on all sides of the coin, including the sales side, which was short-lived, but and then I found my way over to the security side.
That's fantastic. So I'm curious, it sounds like you basically could take your kind of existing book of contacts and so forth and just leverage that into this new product.
That's the goal, Bruce. That's the goal. Yeah.
So are you using a CRM, a contact relationship manager?
We are. Yeah. We're getting that started. We're working out on our end as far as kind of how we're going to attack the market. So I've been populating that as best I can with as many contacts. One of the things that when you work for tech and software is that it's national, right? So a lot of my contacts are Midwest and East Coast, and with all the top, I worked with all the top CRE firms in the country, and so so a lot of my contacts are spread out. So it's now kind of dialing in, and how can I utilize the contacts that are the more in my market, which I've not really done before. I've never had a single market where I've focused on as like a market leader, if you will.
So are you back to doing cold calls?
It's a bit of both. Yeah, it's a bit of both, right? Reaching out to contacts, networking, and I'm just getting started here. So really trying to. The idea right now is get out the name, right? So Cybex isn't necessarily a known name, and we need that brand exposure in the market. So that's so having to focus, and it's a smaller company, and I'm kind of starting from scratch. So having to do business development, the cold call, having to do the marketing and again brand awareness, and get our brand out to the market, and again build those relationships and build that trust. I think that's the big one.
So what platform are you finding works best? Is Instagram working, or Facebook, or LinkedIn? What
right now, LinkedIn.
Working? Yeah.
LinkedIn has been a big one. We of course do the Google, looking into Google ads and so on. But LinkedIn has been great exposure. Really that professional platform that we can post accomplishments and achievements in terms of different partnerships we're working with. I've used it certainly for sourcing, looking for property managers, real estate agents, leasing, to kind of build those relationships. So that's been my start. And then also utilizing some other technologies, for instance, like CoStar, right? And I like, that's just why, earlier I was talking about the importance of technology in real estate. It's like, no matter what you're doing, I think you have to have CoStar. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So
no,
that's very evil, as I say. But
but it's so complete. I mean, it's hard to go away from.
You can't, right? I mean, if you don't,
are you using Kresge at all?
Kresge?
Kresge, yeah.
Yeah, Kresge, LoopNet, a lot of those to see listings. We can, at least I can see what's out there, see who the leasing agent is, reach out to them, develop relationships that way. CoStar has been the most significant because we can see kind of after the fact, and have the opportunity to reach out and engage with the brokers, or if the tenant's listed, which is ideal, to reach out to them directly. Hey, congratulations on the new lease. It's a bit Big Brother, but it's out there, and transparency is kind of the way of the world these days. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So it sounds like you haven't had to do a huge amount of cold calling.
I mean, it's part of my day.
Yeah.
I've got to start cold calling, but right now in the stage that I'm in, it's just kind of that networking and building that out, and again getting our brand out there, and working with the property managers and so on to know who we are. I think that's the important part, and the tough part.
So give us a little clue. Why would I buy Cybex versus some other company?
Well, that's a great question. I guess, for commercial real estate, or for commercial security, and just for the listeners, right? So what we're doing is we're specializing in building custom and integrated systems for cameras, access control, burglar alarm, so intrusion detection, as well as fire monitoring. So we're going to full low voltage gambit. There's a lot of big giants out there, the ADTs, the Bay Alarms of the world. Those are tough to compete with because they're large. But at the same time, that's what makes us so appealing, is that we're a smaller company. We're able to focus and really provide that customer service, that white glove service, as I like to say, coming from a service background, and then now more heavily on the sales side, right? I'm able to provide that for my clients. So not only are we just pushing a system, saying, hey, this is what you're going to have, we can sit down with our clients. We can see what's their budget. What are they looking to accomplish? What's important to them? And then utilizing the manufacturers that we work with, we're able to build those integrated systems, customize it, and really give our clients exactly what they need and what they want, and then informing them as well. So again, really heavy on the service side, making sure that we're taking care of our customers. You're not calling a 1-800 number. You're calling a an actual cell phone or someone's office line that they're going to pick up. So you're going to have a dedicated service manager that's assigned to you. Any of the sales and the team, my team, and we're on a first name basis with our clients. They call us a lot of the time. So that's one of, again, so just a few of the points why a lot of customers have been moving over from the larger firms, from the larger companies, and working with some of the smaller contractors.
Well, I think that is a huge advantage. I mean, I know from experience that calling the Bay Alarms or the ADTs or the big companies, it's just a exercise in frustration, and you don't necessarily get what you want. Sometimes you do, but it can be very frustrating at times because they're just very large operations, and it's hard to monitor everything they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's our advantage. That's our advantage, and especially as we kind of expand into the San Diego market, we have a team that'll be dedicated to it, and dedicated to that market, and providing that stellar experience really is what we're looking to do, and I know that's key, right? I mean, even in all the industries that I worked for, the most successful SaaS platforms or services that any real estate professional has used, whether again it's whether it's a broker, whether it's an owner, investor, so on and so forth, is the fact that they can pick up a phone and they get a real person right away. I mean, that is what I've found to be kind of that key metrics in success is that customer side of it.
Well, and I think in this kind of computerized world, it's getting less and less likely that you're going to get a real person. You may get
right.
Don't you love it when you get a robot that basically says, well, what's your question? And it's a shot in the dark whether you get the answer you need.
Exactly. And I mean, as we see it, AI is ever present and continuing to take over more and more. And I won't be surprised if it's going to be AI bots on the other line, and we're we're looking to avoid that and maintain that personal touch and maintain those relationships, real people.
Real people. Well, as you said earlier on, you're the person you might like to sit down and have lunch or dinner with is Warren Buffett, and he's probably the epitome of sort of high touch. He's not a tech person. So That's right. Yeah, it would be a fascinating conversation to say the least. Warren.
It's a double-edged sword, right? Because you have to keep up with technology, especially in commercial real estate. If you don't have the CoStars, if you don't have the Placers of the world with location analytics, and you don't have the data at your fingertips, you really can get left behind. And I think, and that's for professionals that have been in it for 20, 30, 40 years, they're like, well, with their Rolodex, they have built lasting relationships, of course. But with now, how technology has kind of changed and molded the real estate landscape, and it's a disadvantage if you don't have all the tools, right, that's available to you. And I think that's the same with security. As kind of with crime and the political and economic climate, safety is top of mind. And with that, it's what's the latest and greatest, and want to make sure that we can protect our assets, but more importantly, protect our people. So it's a big thing, and it's something that drew me to the industry.
Well, and that's always a challenge because technology changes so quickly, particularly in the security world.
Absolutely.
That 1 year to the next, the new camera comes out or a new Wi-Fi comes out or whatever. And it's hard to keep up with all of that. So
It is. It is.
it sounds like you're on it, and the big companies of the world probably are giving you a 2 or 3 year old solution to what you might need.
Possibly. Yeah. And that's what's, we're constantly working with the reps from different, again, manufacturers and providers and trying to stay in the know. It's a lot. I'll be honest with you. It's a lot. And I was telling you a little earlier, when I was in college, I was working for a tech company. It was a hardware doing, it was a semiconductor company that was specializing Ethernet over coax. And I actually went to a security conference, probably 20 years ago, and to see, and I still remember it, and to see the advances from then until now. I mean, it's mind blowing, and how NA is integrated into the cameras, and I mean, it's just completely, technology is completely revolutionized.
So for those of the audience that don't know, what does Placer do?
Oh, so Placer.ai is a location analytics. So they do foot traffic for retail locations, market level reports. So it's a tool that professionals can use to identify really boots on the ground. And we used it to identify visits to malls and to retail locations. A lot of franchises, a lot of companies were using it to really drive their site selection process, and what are the top markets, where are the areas, again, market level reports. Even more fascinating was the return to office after COVID. Everyone went remote, and then we were able to see people that were coming back into the office, and so Placer was, and so I was kind of working in that realm where I was working with brokers to bring out these reports. And again, with the top firms, the CBREs, the Newmarks, the Cushman Wakefields, they were all utilizing this service to understand and better serve their clients.
Well, they could figure out, okay, so we're going to be able to figure out how to fill this particular property because people are starting to come back to the office space in this area.
Exactly. I mean, I was in a lot of lease negotiations, right? So where the tenant was saying, hey, it's been business has been low, and I'm not getting the traffic that was promised by the center. And it's like, well, actually, the center is number 3 in the state, and for traffic, and and we were able to show that in numerical data. So that was a fun one. I enjoyed that because it's just so data driven, and it was like here's the stats, and we're seeing that kind of that data and transfer over to the security side too. So it's the tracking metrics through the the access points and the cameras, and being able to identify that. So again, kind of full circle as far as the data goes.
That's fantastic. So if somebody in the audience needed security, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. So my email, which I've got up on the screen here, it's Devin, DEVIN, at CybexSecurity.com, and that's CYBEXSECURITY.com, or you can go to cybersecurity.com, check out our website, and you'll have a direct line to me from there as well.
That's fantastic. Well, I look forward to knowing more about security in the future, so I hope we can continue this conversation down the road here.
Absolutely, would love to.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much, Bruce.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.